What happens when a family built on faith, sisterhood, and unity crumbles under the weight of favoritism and betrayal? When even the children once shielded from the cracks begin to speak out with fury and heartbreak? The answer came crashing into the Brown family's already fragile world when Paedon Brown exploded at Robyn in a moment that left Janelle absolutely stunned and viewers in total disbelief. The place where we unpack every raw moment, emotional breakdown, and shocking twist from the Sister Wives universe. If you're just as hooked as we are on this unfolding family drama, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments. Do you think Paedon was right to finally call out Robyn? Because today, we're diving deep into the emotional firestorm that's been smoldering behind the scenes. One that's finally erupting through the next generation. Paedon's fiery confrontation with Robyn isn't just about one argument. It's the explosion of years of pain, silence, and watching his own mother be slowly erased from the family she helped build. Since the devastating loss of Garrison Brown, the emotional fractures in the family have only grown deeper. The wounds aren't healing, they're widening. And for many of the Brown children, especially Paedon, that grief has collided with long-standing resentment toward the family dynamic their father created, one where Robyn sat at the top and everyone else slowly fell away. Robyn may have entered the family with dreams of sisterhood and unity, but what she ended up representing in the eyes of Cody's older children was division, control, and manipulation. And now the very children who were raised to honor plural marriage are asking hard questions, speaking painful truths, and in Paedon's case, confronting the woman they believe changed everything. And trust me, you'll want to hear exactly what went down from the very beginning. Robyn Brown didn't just join the family, she redefined it when Cody courted her. Something immediately shifted. He wasn't just smitten, he was obsessed. Their courtship, which included extra time alone, secretive meetings, and even a kiss before marriage, something the other wives never got, made it painfully clear to Christine, Janelle, and Meri that this wasn't just a new wife, this was a new era, one that would leave them emotionally sidelined. What started as subtle changes became glaring over time. Cody moved heaven and earth to legally marry Robyn so he could adopt her children, an act he never pursued for his own biological kids. With Christine and Janelle, the show captured Robyn getting more time, more attention, more say, and most controversially, the best house in Flagstaff. While Christine was raising 6 kids in a cramped rental and Janelle bounced from one temporary space to another, Robyn secured a sprawling, luxurious home, complete with space for Cody to visit and stay as long as he liked. The message was clear. Robyn wasn't just another wife. She was the wife, and the children felt it too. Paedon has spoken openly about watching his mother cry, about seeing her emotionally drained, while Cody spent holidays and quality time with Robyn's kids. There were birthdays, missed graduations brushed over Garrison, and Gabe Janelle's sons were pushed further and further into the background, all while Cody claimed he was just managing the family the best he could. But fans weren't buying it, and neither were the kids. Viewers flooded social media with observations calling out Cody's clear favoritism, his dismissive attitude toward the older wives, and his growing obsession with pleasing Robyn at all costs. Reddit threads and YouTube breakdowns lit up with footage of Cody's tone changing whenever he was with Robyn, gentle, engaged, affectionate, a sharp contrast to his cold and confrontational demeanor with Christine or Janelle. For years, Christine and Janelle tried to hold on. They made excuses, tried to keep sweet and hoped things would rebalance. But the imbalance only grew more obvious. Meri, who had once been Cody's legal wife, was left emotionally starving, grasping at scraps of affection, while Cody openly admitted he no longer considered her a romantic partner. By the time Paedon watched his mom finally walk away, it wasn't just relief, it was validation. The favoritism they all felt had been real all along, and with that validation came anger, directed not just at Cody, but at Robyn, whose presence marked the unraveling of everything they once called a family. And soon that anger would explode for years. Paedon Brown watched his mother smile through heartbreak. He saw her try over and over again to hold together a family that was already slipping through her fingers. But when Christine finally made the courageous decision to leave Cody, something in Paedon snapped awake. He wasn't just Christine's son anymore. He became her defender, and he did it publicly. Paedon took to TikTok, YouTube, and podcast interviews, and didn't hold back his posts. Started off subtle, a sarcastic jab here, a knowing smirk there. But soon the gloves came off in one particularly candid video. He flat out stated that Robyn was not the victim she pretended to be, and that Cody had emotionally abandoned everyone else for one woman. He criticized their so-called monogamous spiritual love story, and made it painfully clear he was angry and he wasn't alone. Paedon said, what many of his siblings were still too cautious to voice, that Cody's obsession with Robyn had destroyed the family dynamic and left a trail of hurt kids in its wake. He accused Robyn of playing the victim while subtly undermining the unity the other wives had worked for years to protect. And most tellingly, he said that Robyn never truly wanted to be part of a big family, only a safe one with her at the center. Fans watched these videos with a mix of shock and satisfaction. For the first time, one of Cody's adult children was publicly confirming what viewers had long suspected: Paedon wasn't playing nice. He was airing the Brown family's dirty laundry, and each new clip peeled back another layer of the dysfunction. But this wasn't about fame or clicks. This was personal. This was a son who had watched his mother Christine be dismissed, neglected, and ultimately replaced. His frustration wasn't just with Cody, but with Robyn, who had stepped into the family and slowly pulled Cody away from everyone else. And while Paedon's online criticisms were pointed, they were only the beginning. Behind closed doors, the tension was mounting. There were rumors of heated conversations, silences that turned into standoffs, and finally one moment where Paedon could no longer stay silent in Robyn's presence. That moment, the confrontation, is what truly shattered the illusion that peace could ever return. While TLC didn't roll the cameras on the moment itself, the fallout was undeniable and the whispers deafening. According to Paedon's own social content and subtle confirmations from Christine in interviews, the day Paedon finally confronted Robyn face to face was the day the last thread of illusion snapped. He didn't yell, he didn't curse, but what he did was far more powerful. He called her out directly, boldly, emotionally. He accused Robyn of tearing the family apart, of standing silently. As his mom and Janelle were emotionally discarded, he reportedly told her that her constant tears didn't match her actions, that her claims of wanting sister wives were hollow when she allowed Cody to alienate everyone but her. This wasn't just a family squabble, it was the voice of the next generation stepping into the chaos. Paedon, fueled by years of watching his mother be diminished and his siblings be ignored, couldn't hold back any longer. And Robyn, according to those close to the family, she was shaken. She painted herself as blindsided and hurt. In her usual soft-spoken manner, she described feeling attacked by someone who didn't truly understand her heart. But for Janelle, who was reportedly present, or at least deeply involved in the aftermath, the moment was a reckoning. Janelle had spent years trying to keep the peace. She was the peacemaker, the realist, the one who always tried to see every side. But this time, even she was stunned by how deeply her children had been hurt, stunned that it had to come from Paedon, not Cody, not Robyn, not even herself, to finally force the truth into the open. In that moment, Robyn's long-standing narrative of being misunderstood began to unravel, because this wasn't just a bitter ex-wife speaking. This was a son who had lived through the breakdown, a son who had seen holidays grow tense, dinners turned silent, and a once bustling family turned into fractured households. And most importantly, this confrontation wasn't about winning. It was about being heard. Paedon's emotional outburst cracked the shell Robyn had built around herself. And for Janelle, who had already started drifting emotionally from Cody, it may have been the final confirmation she needed. The emotional burden wasn't just on the wives anymore. It had landed squarely on the children who were now carrying scars. They didn't ask for. This moment wasn't just the explosion of one man's anger. It was the symbol of a family falling apart from the inside out as the dust settled from Paedon's fiery confrontation. The collapse of the Brown family unit became impossible to deny. Christine was already gone, and thriving her new life with David Woolley marked more than just a romantic shift. It was a complete rejection of Cody's chaos in interviews. Christine made it clear she was never going back. Plural marriage done polygamy. Not a chance. I want a man who chooses me every day, she said. And with David, that's exactly what she found. No more competing, no more begging for time, affection, or a seat at the table. Christine walked away, not just from Cody, but from the entire belief system that once defined her life, and fans cheered loudly. Janelle, meanwhile, had held out longer. She tried. She gave Cody the benefit of the doubt over and over. But after watching her sons, Gabe and Garrison, be emotionally abandoned during the co-years, and feeling herself pushed further down the priority list, she had enough. "I'm not gonna pretend everything's okay," she said in her most raw confessional. And with that, she too walked away for her. It wasn't just about romance, it was about respect, or the complete lack of it. Years of loyalty couldn't save a marriage where she was treated as a side project. While Robyn remained center stage, Meri, ever the loyal soldier, clung longest to the idea of plural marriage. But even she admitted that it only works when everyone is equally committed. Cody, he checked out long ago. He told the cameras and Meri that he didn't consider them married anymore, and that cold truth finally forced Meri to step away from the man she had legally divorced years earlier, but emotionally still hoped would come around through all this. Robyn stood firm by Cody's side, her voice cracking as she told viewers, "This isn't what I wanted." She mourned the dream of sisterhood. She never truly got a large plural family full of love and shared responsibility. But now she was alone with the man she'd built it all around, and still she defended him. Cody, for his part, showed little introspection in the tell. All he blamed his wife's departures on them being mean. After leaving him, he described himself as a victim, saying he only grew bitter in response to their rejection. But fans weren't buying it. Social media lit up with viewers calling him out for years of gaslighting, favoritism, and emotional neglect. The general sentiment: the wives didn't get mean. They got free in the end. It wasn't just the wives who walked away with scars. It was the children, the ones who grew up believing in unity, spiritual love, and shared sacrifice, who were left holding the deepest emotional baggage. Paedon's anger, Gabe and Garrison's estrangement, Aspen's silence, McKelty's caution, Layon's distance, all reflections of a home that fractured long before the public saw it coming. And what Paedon did, confronting Robyn, speaking out, breaking the silence, wasn't just rebellion, it was grief. It was a cry for accountability from someone who watched his mother cry behind closed doors for years. The real tragedy isn't just that Christine, Janelle, and Meri left. It's that their children were left watching the collapse unfold in real time, powerless to stop it. Even Christine's new husband, David Woolley, couldn't ignore what he saw in the tell. He called out Cody without hesitation, describing his behavior as manipulative, self-serving, and emotionally damaging to all his wives, not just Christine. David, who had seen the toll plural marriage took on his own family growing up, wasn't buying the narrative that polygamy itself was the villain. Instead, he placed the blame squarely where many viewers had long believed it belonged: on Cody. Because polygamy didn't fail the Browns. Cody failed it. He failed to lead with fairness. He failed to love equally. He failed to nurture the emotional needs of his wives and children. And instead of owning that, he spun a story where he was the one betrayed. And then there's Robyn, the one who still stands by him, her loyalty once seen as commitment. Now feels tragic. She wanted sisterhood. She wanted that big, beautiful family. She dreamed of not to be the last woman standing in a broken household. Her loyalty might be genuine, but it's rooted in a vision that's long been reduced to rubble. Now she lives in a house meant for many but filled with silence. The once boisterous Brown family dinners are no more. The shared laughter between wives, the communal parenting, the late-night talks gone. What's left are isolated lives healing separately, and in many ways it was never inevitable. It didn't have to end like this if Cody had truly led with love, not ego. If Robyn had advocated for unity, not just protection. If the other wives hadn't been forced to compete for basic respect. Maybe the family wouldn't be shattered. Maybe Paedon wouldn't have felt the need to confront the woman he believes symbolized that downfall. But here we are, so now we ask the questions that won't let go. Was Penn right to say what no one else would? Was Robyn ever really trying to build a sisterhood? Or was she always seeking security for herself and her kids? Could the Brown family have been saved if anyone had chosen honesty over control? I want to hear from you. Let's talk in the comments. What do you think caused the real collapse of the Brown family who paid the heaviest price? And was there ever a moment where this family could have been saved? This has been Helena, and you've been watching TLC The Sister Chapter. Make sure to subscribe for more raw, real, and revealing breakdowns of everything happening in the sister wives world. Until next time, take care of your heart and never settle for less than the love you deserve.